All right, so this is an 18-gallon bin that I have that I actually got from my mom, but I know you can get them at Walmart or something like that for like 10 or 15 bucks. And then on the inside of the bin, I have 4 of these little canister things. They're clear, they're like $1 a piece at Walmart. I have those to prop up a dish rack. Dish rack goes in here, sitting on top of the 4 bins. Yeah, you can see it from there. So I'm going to show you kind of, okay, and these, there's some big spaces here, so I actually block off the ends when it decides it wants to work. Yeah, that's why. Okay. So I'll block off the ends because when you pour the ice, you don't want it to fall. Like, you don't want it to fall out of the sides where there are those big holes. Just because you end up losing a bunch of ice, and you want it to stay on top of the fabric. Oh, so as it melts, it continues to go, the shirt will get more saturated. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling over myself here. But the more ice that stays on top of the fabric, the likelier you are to have fully saturated colors. So that's what the setup's gonna look like. I'm going to get the fabric out of the soda ash fixative that I'm using and place it in here for you to see. Also helpful, if you're gonna be doing the ice dye method, I like to wear a little like surgical face mask and get them for a couple bucks at like CVS. Because when you're sprinkling the powder, some of it will naturally go into the air, and sometimes it goes into your nose, and then you'll blow your nose, and all of a sudden you have hot pink boogers in your nose. So definitely using one of these is recommended. Keep your breathing clean. All right, this is the soda ash mixture that I made, that I fixed my fabrics in, because the dyes that I use, I need to use soda ash for them to set into the fabrics properly. So I soak it in soda ash, water, and then I place it in the dish drying rack that we have in here. And again, you see how it's elevated off of the bottom so that as the ice melts, it'll go through, and then the excess water will land on the bottom, and this will be nice and distant from that. Okay. And then this is actually what I'm getting ready to put in the bin is the accordion fold. I'm getting the soda ash everywhere. It's the accordion fold that I did the tutorial video for, so you can see how I lay it out as well. I put the fabric, I fold it in this U shape, and I place that part facing down. That's what I've done every time, and I like the way it turns out. I'm sure at some point I'll try it facing up just to see what the difference is, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I try to keep this as straight as possible. I don't like getting a bunch of kinks in it, but also realistically, it's the nature of the beast, kind of. Yeah, there's gonna be some kinks in it. I mean, it's going around a bend, so it's fine. It'll look great. And that's all settled now. Okay, so we've put the ice over the fabric, and I'm gonna get some to the center. And so now you can see it's covered. I would really like to have more ice in it, but I don't have any more on me. Like, I don't have any more at my house right now, so this is gonna have to work. Okay, so ice is evenly spread. And then I'm using Dharma Fiber Reactive Dyes. This is Gunmetal Gray. And also Dharma Kingfisher Blue. I'm going to use Gunmetal Gray first. And I'm going to do mostly gray. There's actually only one custom order in this batch that I'm doing, and she wanted a lot of gray and a little bit of blue. And honestly, I don't remember which shirt it was, so the other two were just in there for fun anyways, so they're gonna get a lot of gray. And that's kind of what I like about custom orders too, is you end up making stuff, like little extra stuff that you don't intentionally make, but it's pretty cool. It's like other people's ideas kind of mixed with your design, so I like it. Alright, so I just do a line this way again. So the the accordion fold is wrapped around this way. So really any way that I spread, like as far as if I did the line this like horizontally versus vertically, it really wouldn't make that big of a difference. For the shirts that are in there, it might make a little bit more of a difference, but for purposes of the accordion fold, it's not a huge deal which way I distribute that, because again, it's wrapped around in a square, so it's like same exposure. It would be in a different place on, it would be in a different place. I'm sorry, I can't talk and dye at the same time. It would be in a different place on the final product, like on the tapestry, but it wouldn't really make a huge difference. Again, it might be a little higher or a little lower, but it won't completely change the color scheme or anything, obviously. So I'm doing a little bit of this Kingfisher Blue on either side of the gray. Just a narrower line than I did with the gray, and I like to soak the ice in dye. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining this. So to distribute, I use a little plastic spoon, and I take, this is my, I'm using the gray again. I label them on top because I don't feel like reading the front every time. So going, you can't really, I mean, yeah, it's kind of dark, but all right, so you'll scoop out some like this. So it's sitting on top of the spoon like that. And then I hold it over where I want to drop the dye and tap the spoon with my finger. So it's a very light distribution. Obviously, you know, the more you do it, the quicker you get at it, because I've been doing it for a while. I know I like to do more dye. If you're trying to do like a more, you know, a smaller section or something like that, you can either get closer or just tap a little lighter and it'll only give out a little bit. But that way it gets evenly distributed. It's not like you're pouring it in one spot and it's super saturated there and then very faded in other areas. I don't know why I don't like having any white on my shirt. Like if I'm really happy with the end result of a tie-dye, there's typically not going to be any white on it. But it happens most of the time. But my favorite pieces, there have been no white at all left. Alright, so I'm getting low on this. I'm going to finish it out because why not? And I should probably order another one, but who knows when that's going to happen. Okay, so here's that gray. Again, just dee. And I ran out of gray, so it looks like I'm gonna have to use a little bit more blue. So that is what it is. And I am not wearing my mask right now because you can't hear anything I'm saying if I wear it. But I just got a nice little mouth full of dye fumes in my mouth. So definitely, if you can, wear a face mask while you're doing this, because little particles will get all up in your nose. All right, so now it looks extra muddy, kind of dirty, but that is fine because we are going, I mean, it's gonna melt and it's gonna look amazing. So again, I put the ice on top of the fabric, sprinkled the dye over the ice, and now as the ice melts, it's going to drip through into the fabric, distribute the dye, and then drop into the bin, leaving the fabric suspended in air. Well, in air, I mean, technically it's in a dish drying rack, but so it'll leave it suspended so that it doesn't get in the muddy water and the dye isn't affected at all. And yeah, so this is gonna sit for probably 24 hours, just depending on how long it takes to soak all the way through. And typically for ice dye, you can wash it out right after it's done melting. If you want to get really saturated colors, obviously the longer you leave it, the better. I would say don't leave it more than 2 days, you know. If you leave it for 48 hours, that's fine, but I wouldn't leave it any longer than that just to avoid like molding or anything like that. If you want, you can leave it outside and it'll melt faster if you're in South Florida like me. And I cover it with a plastic sheet, like a plastic, yeah, I think it's a plastic sheet. Cover it, and then I use a big, I have like this little elastic rope kind of thing that I use, and I put it around to kind of create a hot box, if you will. And then I leave it covered. I move mine outside because it is South Florida and super hot, but you can leave it inside if you're in a cold environment. Obviously, I would recommend keeping it inside. When I lived out in Colorado, I actually did a little heating setup where I put a space heater in a room with it and closed the door because we didn't have the heat on all the time. But just to heat it up and make it melt quicker, I did that. Had it set to like 75 degrees, I think. So in Florida where it's 90 degrees, it's even easier for it to melt. So I hope this was helpful, and enjoy your ice dyeing.